According to Bob. This is a visual podcast of the USS Olympia, which of course means that this is a narrated series of slides rather than having any video in it. Now, of course, the Olympia is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, steel warship that's still afloat. And it's a cruiser. It's really not a battleship. Here's a beautiful picture, a nice painting of it, I should say, of her sailing in the battle. Of course, she's most noted for the famous Battle of Manila Bay with Admiral Dewey. Here's a famous portrait of Admiral Dewey at the Battle of Manila Bay, and then there's, of course, Admiral Dewey. A nice picture of him. You can't see him very well, but there's his pet dog, Bob, down here. Bob's a good companion for the Admiral. Of course, the Spanish-American War spawned a lot of books. This one is, as you can see, the life and heroic deeds of Admiral Dewey. I've got probably 15 different books on the war in the Philippines and different aspects of the Spanish-American War. The one problem with these books, however, they're relatively cheap in most cases, but they are produced usually in really cheap paper, and they'll almost disintegrate in your hands if you don't properly take care of them. But they are full of photographs and pictures. Excellent sources. Here is a map showing the famous Battle of Manila Bay during the Spanish-American War, May the 1st, 1898. Dewey's 6 ships against 11 Spanish ships, but of course, as you can see, the Spanish ships were mostly unarmored. It's not a problem. They were more concerned about the shore batteries, and as you can see, the Americans suffered no losses. And of course, later on at the Battle of Santiago, they'll end up losing one guy due to heat stroke. So it's pretty cool. This is a picture taken from one of the books on the Spanish-American War, and you can see this is of course Dewey's entire fleet. Most American naval ships had postcards that the sailors could use and send home, and you could purchase. The Great White Fleet, as you can see, the spectacular white hulls. The Olympia in the middle, and then the Baltimore, the Raleigh, the Boston, the Concord, and the Petrel. And then this is a little closer, the protected steel cruiser Olympia. Now, this ship was launched in 1892. It's 344 feet long, 53 feet wide at its widest, carried a crew of 429. Its maximum speed was 22 knots. And this is an interesting little fact. This ship burned at top speed 633 pounds of coal a minute. So this thing would go through a ton of coal in 4 minutes or less, and most of that's being shoveled in. And you can imagine how much coal has to be stored on these ships in order to maintain everything. Now, in the early 90s, my family, we took a trip to Baltimore and then ended up spending the day in Philadelphia. And we went down to see the Olympia because I spend a lot of time on the Spanish-American War, and I wanted some pictures of it. Now, I'm happy to report that even though my pictures are a little out of date, the ship has been really refurbished, and they're still refurbishing it. It was not in very good shape when we were there, and I think it's in 1993. It's been repainted. They actually have a living history crew on this ship, so you can go everywhere on it and talk to people. This is one of the main wheelhouses, and that was closed when we were there. It's open now. So there's a significant change in the Olympia for the better. And most of my pictures are going to be from the exterior anyway. This is a view from the bridge in the front. I couldn't go in it, so I stood in front of it, or close enough. Now, the ship was decommissioned from the United States Navy in 1922, but this ship was responsible as a flagship of the American Navy during World War I, and as such, she was the one who brought back the unknown soldier, the American unknown soldier at the end of World War I. And I'll show you the spot where it was located. And that's a view looking down to the fantail, to the backside. Here you can see some of the other guns. It's kind of amazing at this era that you'll have so many. These are stationary. You're going to have to move your ship in order to fire these guns. And they have all sorts. Only the main turrets in the front and the back move. This is the interior, showing one of those guns pointing out. You can imagine the sound that this thing made when it went off on the inside. When we were there in '93, I hope they have it somewhat air conditioned on the inside. We picked a very hot day. It was 98 degrees and it was hot inside the ship. You couldn't get any places you can now. And then this is the area where the unknown soldier would have been placed. At least a replica. The original coffin was put on the inside of the ship. They just brought it out for its unloading. There you go. You can see the replica where the casket was placed on the ship, bringing it back. And this is on the back end of the ship, so this is the rear turret. And then this is a picture of again, you can see the unknown soldier coffin location here. The crow's nests, the rear artillery turret. It's excellent. If you're ever in Philadelphia, you really need to come by and see this. Now, this ship became part of the Independent Seaport Museum Historical Ship Zone in 1999. There's a U.S. submarine next to it as well that you can go in to see. But this is quite nice, and I thought you'd enjoy seeing the USS Olympia after seeing the other ship from the era, which was the Mikasa. So I hope you enjoyed that, and as always, don't forget to come by the website summahistorica.com or historyaccordingtobob.com and ask a question, leave a comment, check out the CDs, and thank you very much.